Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful summer weekend and you're getting ready and ramped up for the fall here. So as a reminder, next Monday will be Labor Day, and hopefully you're not working and we will not be working, so there'll be no call next Monday. So today I wanted to talk about, though, the fixed index annuity presentation. It has a 94% closing ratio. So why? Why does it have well, actually it has a 100% closing ratio, but we make the decision not to take the other 6% on. And so why does it have a 100% closing ratio when somebody follows the script? So let's get some answers to that. Why does it have a 100% closing ratio when people follow the script? Nick's got it. Is Nick the only one that got it? Okay, Kevin's got it too. Yeah, so they're going to tell how many statements should I be making in the FIA presentation. 0. That's right. So they're going to tell me in an hour. When I do it, they're probably going to tell me 150 times that they want an FIA. Properly done, you want to do at least 60 times. They're going to tell you they want an FIA. Now, also, what are the big objections that people give to annuities? What's the biggest objections? There's several of them. What are the objections people give to annuities? Give me one of the objections. Fees. Okay. Do we cover fees in the FIA presentation? Yes. Okay. What's another objection that they give us? Liquidity. Do we cover liquidity in the FIA presentation? In fact, they tell us, or do they or do they not tell us that an FIA is more liquid than a money manager that you can liquidate immediately? Do they tell us that FIA is a lot more liquid than a money manager? I want everybody to answer this, Y or N. Because a money manager, you can liquidate that same day, right? With no penalties. So do they tell us in an FIA presentation that an FIA is more liquid with a 7-10-year surrender charge is more liquid than a money management? Yes, they do. So fees, liquidity. What's another thing that objection that people have to annuities? Low returns. Very good. Yes, low returns. Do we cover that in the FIA presentation? Yes, we do. Well, yeah, time my money up for so long, that's liquidity, right, Kevin? And do we cover that in the FIA presentation? Yeah. So, I mean, the big fees, return, liquidity, and do we cover I don't like annuities at the very end? Yeah, so Kevin says yes, we do. So I want to walk through the FIA presentation, because if you do this right, in fact, there is one big objection that we get with the FIA presentation. What's the biggest objection we get with the FIA presentation when it's done correctly? Why can't I put all of my money? Very good. Why can't I use all of this for all of my money? That's the biggest objection we get. Not that, why would I want to put money in this? No, they're like, why can't I put all of my money in this? That's the biggest objection we get. So I want to walk through how we do this. Now, the nice thing about the FI presentation, this is an open book test. Do you need to memorize the presentation wrote? No, because you're going to have screen after screen after screen. It's going to prompt you on what to say. And do you all know how to get how we can get this so that it's full screen? So if we go to implementation meeting, you can go to online slideshow and you click new window. It fills up the screen so that you don't have to they don't have to see anything with 5Q group, so they're not wondering who is this 5Q group. So we can do that whole thing. But I want to go back to this video so we can watch and I can stop and start without getting confused. So I'm going to go back here, and we're going to training video for rate and participation rate. And by the way, guys, I just moved $500,000 into Mutual's FIA, and it has a 7-year lock-in at 8.5%. Guys, a 7-year lock-in at 8.5%. That means they can't change that participation rate for the next 7 years. How happy do you think I am that I have an 8.5% lock-in for 7 years? How happy would your clients be with an 8.5% lock-in for 7 years? So if you're not talking about these things, you're crazy with the where we are right now in our in the product performance arena. So first thing I talk about with this training video is what's the first thing we always do with Artie's asking Mass Mutual. Is that right, Missy?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't even know where I move my money, but Mass Mutual. So but there's other lock-ins out there too. So you talk to Dan or Jerry about those too. But I mean, 8.5% lock-in, and they can't change that. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Can we do annuity 1035s into it? I would assume there wouldn't be a problem with that. Oh, in fact, that's what we did. So, well, because it was my wife's retirement fund. So
it's retirement.
So, yeah. So what's the first thing we cover at an FIA? So we've done the 21-point checklist. They want to know what we recommend. We're going to do an FIA presentation. What's the first thing that we do? No, lock-in is not the same as a fixed rate. Lock-in means that next year it's a point to point. So they're going to look at where was the S&P 500 on this date? Where was it a year from now? And they're going to give me all the return up to 8.5%. If it does 15, I get 8.5%. If it does 5, I get 5%, but I get 8.5%. If the market falls 30%, lock in cap. Sorry.
Yep,
so if the market falls 30%, guess what? I don't lose that. So how happy am I going to be 7 years from now if when the market does well, I make 8.5%, when the market loses a ton of money, I lose nothing? How happy do you think your clients are going to be? Yeah, and they can't change that on you. So what's back to the FIA presentation. So what's the first thing that we cover at the FIA presentation meeting? We review the 21-point checklist. We have to remind them why they wanted to move all their money. And what are we listening for? We're going to listen for them to be still angry at their guy and say, I can't trust my guy. I need to move this money now. That's what we're looking for. Once they give us that, then we're going to get into the 21-point checklist, or I'm sorry, the FIA presentation. So let's see if I can get there.
And yeah, I want where I am at designing an investment strategy for people, Jeff. Do you think we should do a one-size-fits-all, or do you think we should tailor it to their particular needs?
Oh, definitely tailor it to their needs.
Yeah, and that's what we try to do. So do you mind if I ask you a few questions? They'll seem kind of basic at first, but you'd be surprised at the kind of answers I get sometimes. But it helps me understand better what you're looking for, what you like, what you don't like, and that way we can tailor it better. Would you mind if I ask you just a few basic questions?
No, that's fine.
Again, guys, I want you to, as I'm doing this with Jeff, I want you to ask yourself, is Jeff just being nice? Is Jeff giving me the answer I want just because this is a training video? Or would any prospect, any client answer the exact same way as Jeff? And I've been asking that at every single script call we've been doing the last year. And at every single script call, what do you tell me? Jeff is answering just because of the way exactly I want him to answer, or he's answering the way that 99.9% of people would answer? He's just making it super easy for me, or are my questions, the way I ask the questions, really locking in the answers he's going to give me? So ask yourself this all the way through this presentation. So I've just said, hey, do people want cookie cutter type solutions, or do they want something tailored to them? What is everybody going to say? Oh, I like a cookie cutter. No, they're going to say, I want it tailored to exactly to me. Of course they're going to say that.
Okay, good. First thing is, I just want to remind you as we get started that I do not have a crystal ball. I cannot look into the future, because if I could see into the future and make those predictions, how rich would I be?
Oh, you'd be really rich.
Yeah, anybody that can see into the future, how rich would they be?
Extremely rich.
Extremely rich. So if myself or anybody else tries to tell you that they know what the stock market is going to do, what stock to invest in, what the economy is going to do. I mean, that I've got an algorithm that will pick you the best investments. Anybody that tries to tell you they've got a key to the future, they're full of what?
They're full of beans.
What did I just do there, guys? Why do I start with this slide? What have I just done? Who have I undercut? Who have I had Jeff tell me, or the prospect tell me, is full of beans? Who is that person that Jeff has just said is full of beans? He may not know that he just said that guy's full of beans, but he has just said that guy's full of beans. What guy? Broker, maybe, yeah. And who else? Who else, guys? Their advisor, yes, but who else? The money manager. What does the money manager tell them? Yeah, the Wall Street talking heads, Mark. And the money managers, what do your money managers tell their clients? We've got this algorithm. We can choose the right stocks to be in. We're going to choose the right stock to be in, and if there's a recession, we're going to choose the right stock to be in for growth. We're going to choose guys. They just said that what? Anybody who's telling you they're going to be able to choose the right stocks are full of what? I didn't say it. Did I say that those guys are full of beans? No. They just said to me, yeah, sure, they're saying talking heads at Wall Street. Sure, they're saying Jim Cramer. But you know what? None of you guys have answered. My money manager. Does your money manager say that kind of crap? And if yours does, guess who? Your competitor's money manager is saying that kind of crap. Tell me, did they say, I'm going to be able to get you, I'm not going to give you all the return, but I'm going to be able to protect you on the downside because I've got this algorithm, or I've got this way of investing, or guys, if they were really that good and could see in the future, how many clients would they have? How many advisors how many money managers would be out there if somebody really had that kind of presence to be able to do that kind of stuff? Them, and only them. Now, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say anything bad about any money manager. But I just had Jeff say that anybody's telling them that they can see in the future and they got an algorithm, they got a way to predict and protect and grow, blah, 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 is full of what? Baloney. They're full of beans. Now, we all have educated what?
Guesses.
But they're just what?
They're just guesses.
Yeah. So I always like to make sure when I'm saying this is a fact, it's a fact. And when I'm saying this is an educated guess, that you know that it's all my experience and expertise is put into this, but it's still a guess. Does that seem like I haven't talked about this for a long, long, long time. Let's see how many of you have awesome memories, or hopefully how many of you are actually using this every day. There's only 3 promises I make with my money manager. What are the 3 promises I make with my money manager? What are the 3 promises I make with my money manager? When the market goes up, your accounts are going to do what? With my money manager, when the markets go up, your accounts are going to do what? They're going to go up. When the market goes down, guess what's going to happen with the money manager? It's going to go down. And historically, the market has gone way more up over time than down. Are those 3, would I bet my house on those 3 statements when it comes to my money manager? The market goes up, his account's going to go up. When the market goes down, the account's going to go down. And over history, the market goes up a lot more than down. Would I bet my house on that? Yeas or nays? Is that 3 statements that I would make and bet my house on that? Come on, guys, everybody, I got 2 answers now. I want more answers than that. Would I bet my house on looking at somebody and I say, look at this money manager, when the market goes up, your account's going to go up. When the market goes down, you're going to go down. And historically, the market's gone up more than down. Yeah, I would bet if I have a money manager whose account's going to go down when the market goes up, I bet her what? How many of your money managers' accounts go up when the market goes up? If you got a money manager, the account's not going up when the market's going up, you got a problem. When the market goes down, it's going to go down. So I'd be more than happy with my money manager to say that. Now, should I make any other statement? Should I say, here's the thing, you're not going to get all the upside, but it's going to protect you on the downside. Should I say that? Can I guarantee that?
Would I bet my house on that? Well, with my money manager, because the way he manages funds, he's going to do it so that if the market goes up, you're not going to make quite as much money, but you're just going to protect you on the downside. Would I bet my house? Would you bet your house on that? Guys, just in the last 10, 15 years, how many times has entities said that kind of stuff and it blew up on them? I mean, I could do a whole call on that. Heck, I had about $1 million in money markets in 2008, and I couldn't get that money for 6 months. Why? Money markets, dollar for dollar. No, in 2008, what happened to money markets? That's not even a money manager. That's money market. That's supposed to be a cash account. So, guys, why do I want them to say this? I want them to undermine their current advisor and their current money manager right from the get-go.
Like a fair way to go forward?
Yeah.
Okay, super. So let me just ask you 5 quick questions, and that'll kind of steer me in the right direction
Now, what we're going to do here is when your client answers a question and then their answer appears, when you're watching Jeopardy and your answer is right, when you're watching Price is Right and your answer is right, what happens to the dopamine in your brain? Do you want to play more or play less? Are you happy or are you sad? So when you get the answer right, your brain floods with dopamine. So watch what happens here.
Where to go? Now, again, these are basic questions, but you'd find if you were in my office, you'd hear all sorts of answers to these questions. So let's see how what your viewpoints on these things are. So number 1 is how much of your principal can you afford to lose? What will 90% of people say? Not all, but 90% of people say. How much principal can you afford to lose? What will 90% of people say? Come on, guys. None. That's right. None, Andre. None. 5% will have, the other 5% say anything from 5%, 10%, whatever. But 90% of people say none. So guess what? 90% of people are going to have their brains flooded with dopamine when they say none, because what's going to happen here?
Well, I really don't want to lose any.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I do have some people say, well, I can lose 5% or I can lose 10%. But 99% of people, guess what they say?
They don't want to lose any.
None, yeah. And if your principal does go down, how long before you want to get back? And this is weird. Again, 99% of people answer this the correct way. Correct, I mean the one that's going to show up here. And it's because our brains are wired to start over again when? When are our brains wired to start over again? The beginning of the month, at the beginning of the year. Do we have new month resolutions or do we have New Year's resolutions? Do we have new day resolutions or New Year's? Almost everybody says what? To ground even.
Well, no more than a year.
It's amazing. Everybody I talk to, about 95% of people say 1 year. Some people would say 3 years, some people 5 years, some people say instantaneously. But 1 year seems to be the answer for about 95% of people. So now 90, 95%, 99% of people have answered these two the same. What's happening to their brain? Flooded with dopamine, which means they want to continue this process, which means they like me more. So that puts you in good company. Now, how much of your principal do you want to lose? Do you want to grow? Everybody gets this one, answers this one the same.
Oh, I'd say all.
All of it. And how much of your principal do you want access to if you need it?
I'd say all of it again.
Yeah. And then should we plan only for the good? Only good things happening in the future? Only bad things happening in the future? Or should we plan for both the good and bad because we don't know what's going to happen?
Well, you have to plan for both.
Yeah, we have to plan for both.
Okay, so guys. So
can I show you a strategy that would address all these 5 things?
Both here.
In a positive way?
Yeah, sure.
So guys, when they've answered the question this way, what have they just bought in the first 5 minutes of this? How about first 3 minutes of this? If they answer these questions this way, what have they just bought? That's Andre's got it. Guys, what have they just bought? When they answer all of these this way, what have they bought? That's right, Dale. They've just bought. Can you lose any principal on FIA? No. If you do lose principal, which we don't, how long before you start making money again? 1 year. How much of your principal do you want to grow? With the FIA, how much of your principal is growing when the market goes up? All of it. How much of your principal do you want access to? All of it. Now, they're not going to get access to all of it, but as compared to a money market, they're going to tell me in this presentation that an FIA, because again, just looking at an FIA, you'd say, hey, listen, you don't have access to all your money. You're going to lose 10% if you pull it out. But I don't just have them look at the FIA. I compare it to a money manager. And what are they going to tell me? An FIA is more or less liquid than a money manager? What are they going to tell me at the end in the middle of this presentation? That an FIA is more? I'm not going to tell them that an FIA is more or less liquid than a money manager. They're going to tell me more. So again, it's not perfect when it comes to this, but it's better than a money manager. And should you be planning for good or bad or both? Is there anything better at planning for both the good and bad than an FIA? I mean, this is really the selling point right there. So he, in the first 3 minutes, has just bought an FIA. He doesn't know it yet, but can I return back to this at the end if I wanted to and say, well, how much you lose with can you lose with an FIA? None. They're going to answer all these and say, so I don't know any other way except an FIA that'll do these things for you. Does that make sense?
Super. So what we're going to use, first of all, is Warren Buffett's rules of investing primarily. And who is Warren Buffett?
Well, he's like this super famous investor, guy who buys a lot of companies and invests a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, really
done well or done poorly?
No, really well.
Yeah, he's considered by most people to be the world's best what?
Best investor.
Yeah. And he has two rules when it comes to investing. First one is never lose money. Now, do you know that much about Warren Buffett or just a little bit of what you've heard in the news and things?
Just a little.
Okay. Well, he has a wry sense of humor, which kind of explains the second rule here. The second rule is, first rule is never lose money. Second rule is what?
Never forget rule number one.
Yeah. Now,
So guys, how many statements have I been making? It's 95% questions, 5% statements. Even here, did I tell him what this was, or did I make him read it on the slide? I made him read it on the slide. When they say it, it's true. When I say it, it's suspect.
He thinks not losing money is an important thing. Now, guess what? In 60 years of investing, he's had years when his investments are down. He's investing in stocks, in companies, etc. So there's no way he can prevent having accounts that go down. But he's saying what? That when it comes to investing, we should be more worried about how much money we can make or more worried about preventing how much money we can lose.
Oh, more worried about preventing losing anything.
Yeah, and if you look throughout history with Munger and all of the other great investors for the last 150 years, you're going to mention that, or he mentioned that all of them said the key to wealth is capital preservation. And capital preservation is a nice, fancy term for what?
Keeping all your money, not losing money.
Yeah, not losing money. All the investment greats throughout the last 150 years have all said that. But obviously, when you're investing, you're in things that can go up or down. They're just saying that when you're investigating where to put your money, how much time and effort should be spent on making sure that won't lose a lot of money. A lot of time and effort, or not very much time and effort at all.
Oh, no, a lot of time and effort should go into that.
Yeah.
So how many times has Jeff told me that capital preservation is the most important thing? Once, twice, 3 times, or more than 3 times? More than 3 times. And the more they say it, the truer it becomes.
Exactly. So can I kind of give you a quick illustration of why that's so important or how it works in real life?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is a little illustration I call funny math, and we're going to use 2 mythical investments, investment A and investment B. So we're going to look at their average rates of return. So the over 4 years. So investment A here makes 100%, then it loses 50%, then it makes 100%, then it loses 50%. Now, remember when we were in high school and we were in math class, and if we wanted to find the average of a number, for example, if there's 10 numbers and we wanted to find the average of those 10 numbers, we add up all 10 and divide by 10. So we have 4 numbers here. So we're going to add them up and divide by what?
Divide by 4.
Yeah, so let's first add them up. So if we have 100 minus 50 equals what?
50.
If we have 50 and we add 100 to that 50, what are we back up to?
150.
And if we take 50 away again, we're back to what?
Back to 100.
Back to 100. And we divide by 4. So 4 divided by 100 is?
25.
So the average rate of return is 25%. Good or bad?
Oh, that's really good.
Well, yeah, I'd take that all day long. Now, option B, it goes up 20. Then it does nothing. Goes up 20, does nothing. So what do those numbers add up to?
40.
40. And if we divide 40 by 4, we're at what?
10.
10. So the average rate of return is 10. Hard question. Which would you prefer, 25%?
Now, how many of our competitors talk about average rates of return? What percentage of our competitors talk about average rates of return? All of them do. So what am I destroying?
10 average or 10% average?
Well, obviously the 25%.
Duh. And we all know 25 is bigger than 10. So now when we add actual money to these accounts, that's when we're going to see why Warren Buffett's rules make so much sense. So let's just keep the math easy. So we'll use $100. We put $100 in this account, and it goes up 100% the first year, or doubles the first year. So that account is up to what?
200.
200. And then it loses 50% or half the next year. We're down to what?
Down to 100.
Then we're going to do it again we're up 100 and doubling. We go back up to what?
200.
Then unfortunately, we're going to go down 50% again. We're back down to what?
Back down to 100.
To 100. And we started with how much?
We started with 100.
We ended up with how much?
100.
So 100 minus 100 equals what?
0.
So how much did we make?
We made nothing.
Nothing. So what's the average rate of return if you make nothing?
0.
0, nothing, right? Now, if we put the $100 into the investment B here, $100 goes up 20%. So what would that be?
120.
120, and then it doesn't make or lose any money the next year, so you're still at what?
Still at 120.
Yep. And then the market goes up another 20%, which is $24, so it would go up to what?
144.
Good job, 144. And then again, doesn't make or lose any money, so we remain at what?
Stay at 144.
144. So we started out with 100. We ended up with 144. So how much did we make? 144 minus 100 is?
44.
44. And we divide that by 4. We end up with?
11.
11. So at first, you and I both thought 25, the bigger number, is better. But when we applied the Warren Buffett rule of never lose money, what happens to the numbers when we put money into these accounts? What becomes more important, the high rates of return or not losing money?
Well, not losing money ends up.
Now, how many times between the discussion about Warren Buffett's rules and this funny math, how many times have they told themselves and told me, don't lose money. Not losing money is the most important thing. Whatever I do, I need to make sure my accounts don't go down. How many times have has Jeff told me that? How many times has a prospect told you that? 5 times? No. 10 times? Yes. So what's he thinking? And first of all, how many of your clients would answer any of these questions any differently than Jeff? They would all answer it the same way. So now they know that not losing money is the most important thing.
That being more important.
By a little or by a lot?
By a lot.
So not only is not losing money important, but it's a lot more important than making money. Did I say that or did Jeff say that? Jeff said that. The prospect said that. How many prospects say that? All of them.
Yeah. Does that make sense? So when we're investing, should we worry about not losing money or should we worry about, hey, how much growth can we get? How much is possible? Which one should we need? We want to be worried about both. But if we're going to be really worried, which one are we going to lean towards? Protecting our money or trying to get as much as possible?
Well, lean towards protecting it.
How many people would answer? Everybody answers this. How many people would answer the exact same way that Jeff answered there? A few or almost all? All of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the first rule we look at when we design portfolios for people. The second rule is this. Have you ever heard of the rule, buy something, sell something, buy when it's what, and sell when it's what?
Buy low, sell high.
Buy low, sell high. Exactly right. Good job. So you got that. So the problem with it, buy low, sell high, is we can or cannot see into the future.
We cannot.
We can guess at when we think the market's low, but can it always go lower?
It could.
We can guess when the market's at its highest point, but can it always go higher?
Could always go higher, yeah.
So can we ever buy low and sell high with certainty, or are we always making educated guesses?
Well, you're making educated guesses.
And if we could get by with certainty when it comes to our money or our health or anything else, would we rather be certain or make educated guesses?
Well, you'd rather be certain.
Yeah, but we can't see in the future. So what's the fix to that? Well, there's an investment out there that works this way. You can't see in the future, but can you see in the past?
Yeah, you can look back.
Can you look at last Sunday's football game and know which team won?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So which team are you going to bet on?
The one that won.
Yeah, if you could do that, how many bets would you make?
Yeah, a lot. All day.
Because hindsight decisions are easy or hard when you can look at the past.
Oh, it's a lot easier if you know what happened.
It's a lot easier. And there's an investment that allows us to do that. It automatically chooses the highest of the marketplace and the lowest of the market. It'll automatically make those buy low, sell high decisions for us. So it's like on December 31st, if the market is high, it'll allow you to choose to be, allow you to be in the market. If the market has gone down 40, 50% or 10% or whatever, it'll allow you to be out of the market. So at December 31st, if the market went up, what would you want to be?
In the market.
Yeah. And at December 31st, if you look back at the end of the year and say, holy cow, it went down 50%, I wish I was what?
Out of the market.
Out of the market. So how great would it be if there was an investment that you could choose to be in or out of the market after it's already happened, just like after that football game happened. You place the bet after it's happened. How much money would you place in an investment like that?
Well, I'd put everything in that.
So, guys, how many times already in less than 13 minutes, because I spent the first 2 minutes talking about other things, but in about 11 minutes, how many times is Jeff telling me he wants an FIA? Heck, he's already up to 30, 40 times. He told me he wanted an FIA.
I'd put everything to it, certainly a lot, but that sounds a little what?
Well, too good to be true.
So we better understand how this thing works, or we better walk away, right?
Right, true.
So let's look at how this works. First of all, we said we do or do not want to lose any principal.
We don't want to.
So where are some safe places we could put principal so we don't lose it?
CD.
CDs, yep. And then what kind of bonds would we put them in?
So why do you think I want him to tell me how an FIA works in basic terms versus just trusting me? Is he my client right now? No, he's a prospect. So why do I want to go through this process of letting him explain to himself how we're able to get a large share of the market without any risk? Why do I want him to tell me that? Because by him telling me that, again, he's buying the FIA even more, in his own words. Also, if he understands it and he believes it, that's right, Bert. And if somebody tries to tell him it can't happen, what can he say? Oh, yes, I can. I know how it works. I know it works this way. So it gives, that's right, Bert, he gives a much more belief in the product. And when somebody believes something and somebody tries to tell them their beliefs are wrong, what do? When somebody tries to tell a baby boomer that his or her belief is wrong, what do? They defend it. That's right.
And if we wanted to protect it.
Government bonds.
Government bonds. So that's going to be a safe, guaranteed investment, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, does it just sit there, or what does it pay us every single year? A little bit of what?
Well, you get some interest.
Get some interest. So the way this technique works, the Warren Buffett technique works, is that we're going to put our principal where we can't lose any. So we're going to put it into government what?
Government bonds.
And then we're going to take the interest that pays, and then we're going to invest in an investment that gives us the option at the end of the year to be either in or out of the market. So how much of our principal is at risk?
Well, none of the principal is at risk.
We're only using what?
Just the interest.
Now, when we use the interest, we're going to use that interest and we're going to purchase this investment that gives us the option. So if like last year, the market went up 29%, what would you choose, to be in or out of the market? In the market. If next year, if it had gone down 30 or 40 or 50%, what would you choose to be? Out of the market. So this investment, can only go what direction?
Well, can only go up.
Yeah, it can only go up. It can't go down, because are we ever putting our principal at risk?
No.
No, we're only putting what at risk?
Just the interest.
Just the interest. And the nice thing is, let's say the market goes down, so we choose not to be in the market. Well, the interest is gone then. So if the interest is gone, how much did we make that year?
You didn't make anything.
But at least we didn't what?
Didn't lose anything.
And the nice thing is does the U.S. government bonds only pay interest for 1 year, or do they pay interest every single year?
No, every year they do.
So guess what we're going to do with the interest for the next year?
Do it all over again.
Do it all over again. So
if I sat down with your clients and asked them to explain how an FIA worked, would they be able to explain it in these terms? Or would they think it's just magical and they just believe what you said? I want them to know how it works. That instills belief in them. It's so many times I've told guys, you need to go back and do the FIA presentation with your clients. And they say, well, no, I can't. I just sold them one 3 months ago. So, but do it anyways. Go back and do an FIA presentation. And this is when they first come on board. And 3 months ago, they bought an FIA. The guy went ahead and did an FIA presentation. And the advisor didn't want to do it because he thought the client would be mad at him. Because, you just sold me that. Why are you doing it again? Why are you trying to sell me another one? Or what are you doing? The client did get mad. But what did they get mad at? Why did the client get mad at the advisor? And this is for an advisor who's just come on board with a 5Q, and I've had him go back to his clients and do an FIA presentation the right way. And even if their client bought it 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, the client got mad at him, but not because he's trying to sell another FIA. Why were the clients mad at the guy? See, the guy was afraid they're going to get mad at me because I'm trying to sell them another FIA, and I just sold it to them a month ago. I just sold it to them 2 months ago. They're not. Clients do get mad, but they don't get mad at that. What do they get mad at? They get mad because they say, well, why didn't you sell me this thing instead of the thing you sold me 3 months ago? Because they don't even recognize. They don't even recognize that this is what we're showing them here is what they bought 2 months or 3 months ago. Because 2 months or 3 months ago, you said this is a good thing and they bought it. But did they understand it? No. Did they sell it to themselves? No. You sold it to them. They get mad because they're like, why didn't you give me this thing that you're showing me instead of the thing you sold me 2 or 3 months ago? What does that tell you about this presentation? That this is the way you need to present an FIA. The market goes up, our investment will what?
Go up.
And if the market goes down, our investment will do what?
Just stay flat.
Flat, because the interest disappears, but then it's going to pay interest again, and we're going to do what the next year?
Same thing.
So you see how that works?
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at how it works in real life, okay?
Okay.
So this is a table of the last 20 years, starting in 2000. So it's going to show the S&P 500 option versus the Warren Buffett option. So the S&P 500, what is the S&P 500?
It's the 500 biggest companies, their performance.
Right. So it's basically, when we hear it in the news, it's basically saying, when they say the S&P 500, they're saying that it's what? That's how the stock market has what?
That's how the stock market's done.
Yes. So if we look here, we're going to put $100,000 into the S&P 500, the stock market, and $100,000 into Warren Buffett 20 years ago. And let's see how they worked. Well, remember the stock market bubble there in 2000? I mean, it did great in the 90s, and then what happened to it?
It went down.
Yeah, so it went down. So,
and guys, these numbers have been updated on the presentation, so it's closer to where we are now. But I wasn't going to reshoot the whole training video just for that. So these numbers have been updated, and do the numbers look just fine? Those of you that have been using this, do the numbers look horrible now, or do they look almost the same? With the updated numbers for 2020, 2021, 22, do they look worse, or do they look basically the same? Do they still make the same point? They still make the exact same point, even with the updated numbers. As they should, because that's the way an FIA works.
You see, we started out with 100,000. We ended up by 2002 to be at what?
59,645.
But with the Warren Buffett, do we make any money when the market goes down?
You don't make anything, no.
But we don't what?
Don't lose anything.
So by 2002, what was that worth, the Warren Buffett strategy?
Still worth 100,000.
Yeah. Now, in 2003, after having 3 down years, it rocketed back with a 26% rate of return. So the 59 grew back up to what?
75,000.
But the Warren Buffett only went up 40%. Now, here's why it only goes up 40%. Where is of all of our principal? In the market, or is it all protected and we're only using the interest?
No, it's all protected. We're just using the interest.
Yeah, so the interest is not going to perform as well. When we buy that investment, it won't perform at 100% of the market. It's only going to perform at 40% of the market. And we're thinking, holy cow, only 40% of the market.
So am I blue skying it, or am I being brutal? Look at 26, you're only going to make 10. 26, and you're only going to make 10. Am I blue skying this, or am I being right on point, saying, listen, you're not going to get all the market? And again, things are a lot better than they are right here, but this is even at the lower participation rates. So I'm not blue skying it. I'm telling them this is how it's going to work.
Does that seem like a lot or not very much?
Yeah, that's not a lot.
So when the market went up 26%, we only made what over here?
10.55.
That's right, Bert. I'm not sugarcoating it.
Oh my gosh, that's not very much. And that goes on and on. The next year, the market made 9, and you only made what?
3.6.
Guys, am I hiding this, or am I right in this face with this?
And that goes on and on and on for 20 years. Market's going up and up and up, and then down, then up and up and up and up and up, and then down, and up and up and up and down and up. But by the end, let's look at the columns. The S&P 500 or the stock market was at what?
218,580.
And even after a 29% rate of return in 1 year, what's the Warren Buffett still at here after 20 years?
219,126.
Which was better?
The Warren Buffett.
By a lot, or just squeaked in there?
Squeaked in there.
But even 1 year ago, it was at 196, and what was the market at?
Because I will say, with the 8.5% lock-in, how would these numbers have looked? Would a loss have been down only 8.5 here instead of 10.5 here, but we would have been at 8, 3, 8 instead of 5, 3.5 instead of 1, down a little bit here, 8, 8, down here, 8, 8. Guys, so this is low ball what he could expect, but he's still telling me what?
169.
And which one is better even just a year ago?
The Warren Buffett.
By a little or by quite a bit?
By quite a bit.
Also, who had less stomach problems and sleepless nights, you think? The S&P 500 or the Warren Buffett option?
The Warren Buffett option.
Yeah, because if you think about it, let's look at this last year. 29%, that's awesome, and the Warren Buffett only made 11.55 that year, right? Last year.
Right.
But let's talk about that 29%. I'm imagining that because you got such a good rate of return on your investments last year, that you traded in your house for a mansion.
No, we're not going to do that.
Traded in your car for a Rolls Royce.
No, nothing like that.
And I've been working with investors and retired folks for the last 30 years. Guess how many of them traded or changed their lifestyles when they got a good rate of return?
So I wouldn't think many, if any, at all.
None of them did, because they're saying, great, last year was great, but this year could be what?
That could be not so great.
Not so great. Next year could be what? Like this. If it goes down 30%, yeah. So when the market goes up, do we really change our lifestyles? Go out and buy a bigger house and and go out and buy a more expensive car and those kind of things, or does it really not change your lifestyle?
It doesn't really change much.
No, it doesn't change much. But I have, maybe not for you, but for a lot of my clients, when the market falls 30 or 40%, does that cause problems with their lifestyle?
Good. Yeah, absolutely.
Do they start to think, well, maybe we shouldn't go to Europe this year? Maybe we should scale back on a vacation. Maybe we shouldn't go out to eat does it start to affect and bleed into your lifestyle?
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah. So again, it's the Warren Buffett rule, which is what? Try never to what?
Not to lose money.
Because making money is fun, but losing money is what?
That's terrible.
Again, now, how many times has he told me, 20 minutes in his presentation, have your money where you cannot lose money. Cannot lose money, cannot lose money. We're probably up to 40 times now.
It's terrible. Now, have you ever heard the saying, a picture paints 1,000 what?
Paints 1,000 words.
Yeah, so this is a picture of that table of all those numbers. There was a lot of numbers there. So instead, we painted a picture here. So remember, we put how much money into the market in beginning of 2000?
100,000.
100,000. So which of these lines do you think is the S&P 500, and which do you think is the Warren Buffett option?
See, I'm getting some. Hey, I love the 8.5%, but did I show the 8.5% for the previous presentation? It showed 40% participation rates. So I'm getting questions like, boy, it would sure be nice to look at those guys. We've talked about this before. What should you be doing with all of your old contracts at this point? What should you be doing with all of your old contracts at this point? With the rates where they are right now, what should we be doing? We should be sending them all to Jerry and sending them all to Dan and looking at upgrading them. So those are good questions about what do we do? What you do is send all of your old contracts to Jerry and to Dan and see if they can be upgraded, because right now, and do we know if that's going to be available next week, 2 weeks, or a month from now? No. So when should you be doing it? Now. Yeah, that's right. This afternoon, do it today, because these willingness for these companies to accept transfers of policies that are still in force, that it still has surrender charge, that can go away tomorrow. And I wish Jerry, I don't know if we can get Jerry on or whatever. You could talk about all the success rates they're having. We got guys that have moved 20 different contracts, and did it hurt the client? Did they tell the client they must do this, or did they show the client another option and the client said, I want to move? Is that hurting the client? And these companies are accepting them now. Are they going to be accepting them next week? I don't know. So should you be sending Dan and Jerry onesies and twosies? No, send them over your book of old contracts and see if you can get them moved. Make sense? And again, move to make you money? No. Moved why, guys? Moved why? Now, it's not harm, and it's not bad that you make money, but you're moving so the client will be better off. That's right, Nick. That's right, Bert.
Well, the blue line's the Warren Buffett option, and the gray line is the S&P 500.
That's exactly right. Because we found with the S&P 500, what happened for the first 3 years?
Went down.
Went down.
So just going to hop in here. I keep calling the Warren Buffett. Am I eventually going to have Jeff tell me he wants an annuity? Yes. But right now, do I want annuity as part of the conversation? No, because right now I'm talking about what? Concepts. Because can we build our own FIA? Buy bonds, take the interest, and buy options. Could we do that? Yes. Would it be very effective? No. But right now, we're just talking about a concept. At the end, I'm going to give him the option of us building one for him or him buying an annuity, and guess what he's going to tell me? I'd rather buy the annuity. Yeah, that's right, Bert. Comparison. Exactly right.
Down. And what happened with the Warren Buffett?
Stayed flat.
Flat. Now, in 2002, after 3 years of down, the market finally turned around and started to do what?
Went back up.
Went back up. And how many years did it take to get back up?
1, 5.
2, 5 years to get back to ground even there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, so why does it take longer to go back up than it go down? Well, here's why. If we have $100 and we lose 50% or half of it, What are we down? $50.
$50, yeah.
Now to get back to our 100, how much do we have to make to get back, turn that 50 back into 100?
You have to double it.
So what percentage is that? You have to get a what percent?
100%.
100%. So it's not really fair. We only went down 50, but now we have to do what?
I have to go up 100.
And there's been many times when the market falls 20, 30, or 40% in 1 year. How often do you see it go up 40, 50% in a year, 100% in a year?
Well, I've never seen it.
No, I've never seen it because it's never what?
It's never happened.
Never happened. So it takes longer to make money or longer to lose money?
It takes longer to make money.
Yeah, so it takes longer for it to recover. And then sadly, in 2008, what did the market do again?
Went down.
And then it took how many years to get back to around even again?
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. And if we go back to 2000, because we're just back up to the 100,000, if we invested in 2000, how many years did it take to get before we finally broke through 100,000 for good? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years to get back to ground even. So what do you think about people who retired in 2000? What were they thinking?
This was a bad time to retire.
Yeah, it was. Even people who retired in 2008 or 2006, what they think? Geez, we just invested, we went up, and boom, we're already what?
We're already back down.
Yeah. So, who had the roller coaster ride and who had the nice smooth ride?
Well, the S&P 500 had the roller coaster ride. Warren Buffett had the smooth ride.
Now, obviously, now we're up. They finally got back after how many years? 20 years. We're finally tied here. But what are we worried about?
Worried about it going back down.
Again, we're starting the whole thing what?
Start all over again.
Start all over again.
So we're nearing the end of the call, so I just want to address a couple more questions we had. Some of you are saying, oh, yeah, but I would love to go back to my clients and show them new opportunities, but I have to tell them that they're going to have a new surrender period. Yes, we are, and we're not going to make it there today because we're almost to the top of the hour. How do I cover liquidity, guys? I asked them, are they ever going to take all their money out, and what do they tell me? I'm giving you the synopsis of this. At some point in the future, if you want, well, I'm going to ask you that question if you want to do that later, but I'll ask them, will you ever pull all this money out, and what do they tell me? Tell me, because if you pull it out, you're going to take a 10% penalty, and you're going to get hit with taxes. So what's the likelihood you're going to pull all this money out? What do they tell us? Yes or no? They're not going to. I say, okay, now, but do things come up in life? Could you need a new car? Could you need home improvements? Could the kids need to borrow money? Could you want to go on a nice vacation? And then whatever they have $300,000. Say, what's the likelihood that would $30,000 in your trade-in get you a long ways to a new car? Well, yeah, it would. Do you spend more than $30,000 a year on vacation? Well, no, we don't. Do you lend the kids $30,000 every year? No, we don't do that. Do you home improvement roof? Would $30,000 get you pretty a long way to the roof if insurance doesn't pay for it? And they tell me what about that $30,000? That is what? Fine. Never. I don't want. And I say, what's the likelihood you're going to spend that $30,000 every single year? And what do they all tell me? Not going to do it. Oh, terrific! Because this does allow you to pull it out, $30,000 out with no penalty whatsoever. Now, but could 1 year it be the case where you need to pull out more than that $30,000? Let's say you need to pull out $60,000. Pull out $60,000. So you pull out $30,000 with no penalty, and we get a 10% penalty. Let's just use 10%, easy math. 10% on the other $30,000. So what's 10% of 30,000, guys? What's 10% of 30,000? Come on, you high math advisors. What's 10% of 3K? Okay. And so that means you're going to get hit with a $3,000 penalty. 3,000 as compared to your $300,000 account is how much? So what's 3,000 as compared to 300,000? What's 3,000 as compared? 1%, yes. So has the market ever gone up 1% in a day? Has the market ever gone down 1% in a day?
Yes to both. So with your money manager, if it's a down day, if you pull it out on a day that's down 1%, you're going to take a 1% penalty. If you pull it out when it's up 1%, you're going to be up 1%. With this, you're going to get hit with a 1% penalty if it's down. But really, 1% is compared to your total account, and it may be better than the money manager, or it may not be better than the money manager. We call that a horse of what? Call that a horse piece. So as far as liquidity goes, on a daily basis, is one really more liquid than the other? And what did they say? So the question is, if I'm having them move it from one annuity to another annuity, instilling another or extended surrender period, am I going to hide that, or am I going to just go through the liquidity conversation all over again with them? Am I going to hide it, or am I going to go through the liquidity presentation like we do in here? We didn't make it here. I gave you the thumbnail version of that. We just go through the conversation. If they say, oh, I don't like that, then what do we do? Are they going to get mad at you for showing them an opportunity to better themselves? They say, hey, you know what, thanks for showing me an opportunity to better myself, but I'm really not comfortable extending the surrender charge next to 3 years or 4 years or 5, whatever it is. Then you say, are they going to get mad at you or that? Are they just going to say, well, thanks for showing that to me, but no, I think we're going to leave it. And then you do what? You walk away. Now, on the other hand, let's say you went to the bank and you're moving, you have money in the bank because of your conservative money. You're going to move some money into a CD, and they say, oh yeah, we can move it there. We can move it there to 4% CD. And you say, super, let's do that. And say, yeah, and then the banker says, but man, it's a shame. It's a shame we had one paying 8% last. We had one paying 8% last month. I should have probably called you. What would you say? You sure in the heck what? Should have called me. So they're not going to. Are your clients going to get mad at you for showing them a new opportunity, even if they don't want to do it? Are they going to get mad at you for not showing them an opportunity that you didn't show them and give them the option? Which one? Which one would make you more livid? For them to say, hey, would you want to do this 8% CD? You're going to take a 1%. You're going to take a 1% penalty on that, or 2% penalty on that, but you're going to get 8%. And you can say, no, I don't say I want to do that, or you can say, yeah, I want to do that. Or you're going to be more angry if you didn't move and they said, geez, I should have called you last month because we had a special. We were paying 8%. That's no longer available now. I'm going to be livid. Does that make sense? So you go ahead and show them the opportunity. Don't hide the liquidity. Walk them through the liquidity portion. It's only a 5-minute conversation in this presentation. And let them tell you. And I wish we get Jerry on the phone, because guess how many clients are saying, yeah, I don't plan on using this money anyway, so let's go get the better rate of return. Guess how many clients are saying that? Most of them, or very few of them? Again, when we got advisors converting 20 different policies, guess what? That's one advisor, not a whole bunch of advisors. Now that's a guy who went gangbusters and said, you know what? I'm going to show this to all my clients. That's what's happening. Does that make sense? Are we churning if we do that? If we show them a better product and walk through the liquidity with them, are we churning? Yay or nay? No. Are we doing our job as advisors? Yay or nay? Yay. Exactly. Does that make sense? So the question I have for you 1 minute after, we're only about a third of the way through. Do you want me to, and we're off next week for Labor Day. Do you want me to pick it up where we're at right now, or do you just want to go and homeschool yourself and watch the video yourself at some time? Okay, well, okay, everybody's saying lots of, okay, we'll continue to go through it, because then you can kind of get my commentary on why we're doing what we're doing. So we'll bookmark this, and we'll start from this point at the next coaching call that I'm giving after Labor Day. Make sense, guys? I can't tell you how much I appreciate you listening to me go over this stuff over and over and over again. I know it's tedious, but do you see how little things can make big differences? Little things can make big differences. So appreciate you guys. Have a fantastic, safe Labor Day weekend, and we'll pick up our coaching calls here the following Monday. And the script call, we'll go ahead and start here a little bit after 5 after. Why don't we just say at 10 after 10? We'll go ahead and start the script call for those who are going to be on it. Thanks again. Appreciate you guys. Have a great holiday weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.